see the string pop up yet. Like, loading.
There we go. See it now?
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Spencer, Austin, you guys there?
I'm here.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Let's go through this. Okay, so new and old mechanics. A new one is reconfigure. So like this Simian sling. Reconfigure is 2. It's basically an artifact, artifact equipment, and a creature. So a quick creature gets +1/+1. Whenever it or equipped creature becomes blocked, it deals 1 damage to the defending player. Pay 2 to attach it to target creature you control, or unattach it from a creature. Reconfigure only as a sorcery. While attached, this isn't a creature. So like I said, it's the same thing as an artifact or equipment. But remember that when tapping a creature to attack, if it's it has an equipment attached to it, the equipment does not tap. So you can attack with a creature and then unattach it, and you still have 1 blocker. But do remember, so this one gives like a bonus to a creature. Remember that if the other creature deals too much damage, if you take this off, it'll kill the creature. Here's some other examples. Reality chip. It's a new. I think it's their main artifact. But they're nice because they have multiple abilities. They can come out as just a creature, a blocker, but then they can also attach to be an equipment. Any questions?
Not a question, just remember with the reconfigure, if you turn them into an equipment, if the equipped creature dies, they fall off as a creature.
That was going to be my question. Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. On to the next. Modified. Modification to either equipment, auras, or counters. These have to be attached to a creature for it to be a modified creature. So this example, whenever a non-token modified creature you control dies, create a 1/1 spirit creature token. Here's some other examples. So anything with an equipment on it, an aura, or a counter.
Okay.
Any questions on that?
Let me read the green one. One second.
Okay. The green one's pretty good.
Yeah, modified to have trampled. That seems like a pretty beastly combo.
Mm-hmm. And then when a modified creature combat damage, you look for library for basic land.
Okay. So you could have something with that first thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that equipment on your creature in the first slides would count as a modified creature.
Correct.
For these cards. Okay, thank you.
And then the red one, you have to be attacking. If you have an attacking modified creature, then you can pay the 5 mana and create a 5/5. Okay. Sagas. We all know regular sagas. When a saga enters the battlefield, you add a lore counter, and that begins the first chapter. After your draw step, you add another lore counter, and on to the next chapter. Previous sagas would have you sacrifice itself. After the 3rd chapter, the sagas in Kamigawa are now double-faced, and on the 3rd chapter, you exile the saga, and return it to the battlefield transformed into the backside.
Okay.
So these are what I'm really excited for.
I've actually got this this creature, the Okage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
On
The original
Kamigawa?
one.
yeah.
That's cool.
Or it's not from original Kamigawa. It's like a commander creature, right? The
Yeah.
5-color. Yeah.
Yep, the Okashi.
Mm, that's cool. And here's some other examples.
I like the art. Art's freaking heavy. I mean, this compared to the old school stuff, this is some pretty detailed.
This is the card that I'm most excited for.
This one, the Hidetsugu consumes all.
It's got Hidetsugu on the back.
Mm-hmm.
There's another one. This is one I'm excited for.
Yeah, the Dragon Kami's super good too.
Okay, any questions on these? It's pretty simple. Okay. On. Ninjutsu. So to activate a ninjutsu ability, reveal. So you move to attack any creature, and then if the player chooses not to block, then you can pay the. You reveal the card, the ninjutsu card in your hand, pay the cost, and then replace the one in your hand with the one that's attacking.
Oh, so it only works for unblocked creatures?
Correct.
Oh.
So return the one that's attacking to your hand, and we put the ninjutsu one on the battlefield. Which is gonna be I'm excited for because you never know what's gonna be in somebody's hand. Yeah. And Matt did bring a good point though. If you do attack with one of the sagas, you can do the ninjutsu and return the saga back to your hand.
Mm-hmm. If you get it to a creature side.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool trick. So one thing that you guys may don't probably realize, so think through your combat steps. There's entering combat, declaring attackers, declaring blockers, first strike damage, normal strike damage, and then there's resolving. There's the resolving phase. So you can actually double ninjutsu a creature after. So if you ninjutsu out something, so say you play the Thousand's Face Shadow for its ninjutsu cost, and you return the Nashi Moon Sage here. If you have 4 mana, after Thousand Face Shadow has dealt damage, you can ninjutsu back Nashi Moon Sage before you leave combat.
Is it still
Holy
attacking
flip.
or is it?
So you wouldn't even need something with double strike to make
It's
that work.
as long as you're in combat and the creature is declared attacking, the unblocked feature is just a status effect. So if I attack you with a creature, you don't block, I can ninjutsu, right? I can switch it, have the new ninjutsu creature deal damage to you, and then after damage, before it transitions out to second main step, you can activate ninjutsu again and return that creature after damage is dealt back.
So in case you want
Okay.
to save the creature.
See,
That, or you want a certain ninjutsu in your hand, just you can ninjutsu after damage has been dealt. It's a really, really weird mechanic that if you decide to run ninjutsu, it's not going to come up very often at all, but it could be clutch in some scenario, or if somebody tries to play it against you, that is a legal move.
Okay. Any questions on that, Matt? No, you're concerned
that's
about
good
it. Some other examples.
I guess I have a question / comment. So it behooves us to block as much as possible to prevent ninjutsu damage.
Depends. Once again, it just depends. I mean, if most of ninjutsu in this set is in black and blue,
Yeah.
so if they're playing black and blue and they have untapped mana, then there's a good chance, that they might want to ninjutsu something out. Ninjutsuing is not casting a spell, so you can't counter ninjutsu as a spell. It's an ability.
It's an activated ability, right?
Yeah, it's an activated ability.
Okay.
But yeah, so just watch their colors, watch their mana, and then as you see the creatures that are ninjutsuing, you can make your distinguishing decisions on that for, I don't know if I want to risk it.
Now, this might be a common sense thing, but I'm going to ask anyway. So let's just say I'm attacking with the Covert Tactician.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Or what's a card I got in front of me? Let's say I'm attacking with Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
He gets through no blockers. Could I ninjutsu Covert Tactician on top of my Dragon? Or does the card that's attacking need to have a ninjutsu to get a ninja out?
Only the card in your hand has to have ninjutsu.
Okay, so any creature,
Yeah,
if not
as long
blocked, can be ninjutsu'd.
yeah. So it has to be an attacking creature that is unblocked. So it has to be past the blocking phase.
Right.
You can't ninjutsu out before
Before the blocking phase. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. So get death touch on stuff and cause chaos. Got it.
Death touch doesn't do much with ninjutsu because you're trying to get past blockers.
Yeah, but wouldn't they be less likely to block a death touch?
Oh,
than
I see what you're
ninjutsu?
saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
All right. Okay.
Ninjutsu is a really weird ability. Sorry, KK. I thought I'd throw in my expertise on it.
Sorry guys, I'll be right back.
Okay.
With KK stepping away, I don't know if they're going to bring it back or if it's just a dead ability. But I was telling them about Bushido.
They aren't bringing Bushido back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just channel in ninjutsu.
Okay.
I don't think Bushido landed very well.
Well, it was an odd thing. It didn't really do anything. It's like once you block my creature, it gets stronger.
Yeah. If I block or if you block this creature, then something happens is very
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to take advantage of as the person with the card. Like it's the defending players controlling the Bushido effect.
Right. They needed to come up with some like or some instance or something. It's like trigger Bushido counters or something.
Something, yeah.
All creatures with Bushido are to be considered blocked this turn, but have trample.
Something, yeah. Yeah, like creatures you control get +X for each. Where X is their Bushido value or something,
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
No more Godo.
No. Godo didn't survive the 1,000 years. There's a Kiki Jiki card in the set.
I saw that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys there?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Channel. Channel ability allows you to discard the card with the ability from your hand for an effect. So for the so this one, for example, Greater Tanuki. It says 6 mana, 6/5 trample. But you can pay 3, discard it, search library for basic land, put it in the battlefield tap and shuffle. So yeah, it's just discarding the card for the effect.
Gotcha.
Oh, but it's different than cycle, I guess. That's weird.
It's
Well, channel you can change, or the ability changes, whereas cycle isn't that always just get a land?
Well, there's like there's type cycling where it's like basic land cycle, plane cycle,
Mm-hmm.
but regular cycle is discard this card, draw a different card,
Oh, okay.
right? If you read channel,
Yeah.
channel is pay the cost, discard this card, do this thing.
Yeah,
So you don't draw a card when you cycle or when you channel.
unless it specifies that.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so this one lets you discard them for 2 mana to grab a different card.
This would be good for a discard deck. Play things from your graveyard.
So
if I were to channel this Greater Tanuki,
Mhm.
discard it, could I then reanimate it for 1 mana?
Regenerate? Reanimate?
Regenerate, yeah.
No,
the card's never been on the field.
regenerate?
I think it's the reanimate for 1 black mana. We were looking at it earlier.
Reanimate, yeah. Reanimate is just taking a creature card in a graveyard and putting it on the field.
Battle, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Regenerate, it has to be out, and then if it's
Has
if
to
it's
die
dying,
from damage.
yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah. There's that land channel that I think Austin you were excited for.
Yeah, so the channel lands I'm super excited for. Watch out for those. They come into play untapped. So pay special attention, especially the green one. I think that's going to be a money card moving forward. The green one, the green one is 1 colorless, 1 green, and then you get to destroy an artifact or enchantment with the 1 less colorless to activate for each legendary creature you control. So I think that's going to be a money card. Keep an eye out for that.
Especially, I don't think I put it in the presentation, but there is I think it's the enchantment or artifact, but it negates the legendary roll.
Yeah.
So you can have multiple copies of a single creature?
Of a legendary creature, yeah.
Currently, the legendary rules you can't have more than 1 of the same card that's legendary.
Yeah. So Spencer, just an update. Each player's legendary counts only for themselves.
So if you play one of the same card, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just if they're on the same side of the field.
Yeah, exactly. If you play Phage the Untouchable, I can play my own Phage the Untouchable.
Right.
Back in the day, only one person could control it.
Only one person could play it, and people would just counter decks through that old way of thinking.
Yeah. Or, yeah. Have sideboard the strong legendaries and stuff.
Okay. It's not... So it's old.
Yeah.
But...
Well, this is something good refresher for Spencer, especially.
Yeah.
So to activate the crew ability, tap any number of creatures you control with total power equal to or greater than the crew number. Because the crew ability doesn't use the tap symbol, you can tap any untapped creatures you control, even ones that just entered the battlefield.
Yeah. But
yeah.
For
so
clarification,
I
was gonna say the vehicle itself does have summoning sickness the first turn it's out.
It has summoning sickness when it turns into a creature. It does not have summoning sickness as long as it's not a creature. So if you have a card out, if you have a card out that says artifacts you control have tap, add 1 mana to your mana pool, your equipment or your vehicles that you play don't have summoning sickness until you crew them and they become creatures.
Okay.
So the first turn it's out, it cannot be used as a creature. But every turn afterwards,
it can be used as a creature. No, it can be used as a creature, but that creature has summoning sickness the first turn it's out.
So you can block with it, but you can't attack with it.
Yeah, unless you're giving it haste somehow.
Summoning sickness.
I think that's what Matt was trying to say.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll ever come up, but an example is like this brute suit has crew 1. So if you were to play brute suit, crew it, you could then use brute suit to crew a bigger vehicle.
You cannot anymore.
Oh, you can't anymore?
Matt was telling me that, and I looked it up. They made a rule in this new set that you can't use a recently crewed vehicle to crew another vehicle.
Oh,
That nerfs
that
it.
is dumb. Yeah.
It makes total sense, but
Yeah.
it nerfs the ability.
Yeah, you can't have a car driving a car.
I mean, on that note, you can't have a dragon driving a speeder bike. Right? You can't have Ulamog drive your
Magic.
high-speed hover bike, right? That's what I'm saying, is that it's magic,
That's
right?
fair.
Like
Yeah.
the concept is like, if that's your reasoning, then that's stupid.
Yeah.
Right? You have Emrakul, the end of worlds, crewing a high-speed hover bike, right? Emrakul is a million times bigger than the high-speed hover bike.
I think you should just be in the taxi.
Yeah. All right, sorry.
No, I get it.
Getting away on it. So that's good to know. So you can't do that.
Can you crew vehicles on someone else's turn, or is it
Yes.
just a your turn ability?
You can use them to block, can't you?
Well, like a sorcerer's. Like, do you have to crew the vehicle on your turn to block with it? Or if someone attacks you, you can crew a vehicle on their turn and block with the vehicle. Is the crewing considered an instant or a sorcery ability?
What do you guys think?
No, you can crew it on the defense. But does it still have summoning sickness on defense if it's the first turn it's out?
It doesn't matter if you're blocking with it.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, you can crew it on defense.
Okay. I'm gonna go with that is the right answer because no one's saying different.
I was just seeing if KK had an answer. I don't know if KK's here right now.
I'm sorry, I'm muted. Yeah, I agree. I believe you can do it instant.
Yeah.
Doesn't say anything that says differently.
Yeah.
No,
I agree.
It's
Just
been a
reading
while.
through.
I just wasn't
Yeah.
sure.
That's an important thing to know going in, so you know what potential blockers they have and their power and toughness.
So if hypothetically, I got a vehicle out there. Let's say I got the hover, well, the core thing, and I've got a creature that's got flash. On their turn, I could play a creature and automatically man this vehicle and be good. Okay.
And I didn't put them in this slide, but there are new cards. Oh, nope. New cards that are pilots. It's a new card type.
Oh yeah, those yeah.
Their tokens are they're specific cards to help out vehicles. So for example, I'm looking at one on the other page that I pulled up. But it's 3 mana. It's a legendary creature, Rat Pilot. At the beginning of combat on your turn, return target vehicle card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Gains haste. Return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of your next end step. So all these pilots have something to do with vehicles. There's another one that gives it.
So there's specific buffs for the vehicles.
Correct.
Yeah. One of the common things is the pilot tokens. They crew. So if you read it, it's the crew power is based on your power, not your toughness. And the pilots have an ability where they crew for 2 more than their power. So if they're 1/1, they have the potential to crew 3, up to 3.
The way I've always thought of vehicles is the same as living weapon.
A living weapon.
Because you just got like a 0-1 war germ counter that's keeping the equipment alive.
Is it a 0-0? Austin?
It might be a 0-0. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But that's just how I
Because
kept it.
when you unequip it, it just dies.
That's just how I always remembered it. Because if you unequip uncrew your vehicle, it can't do anything.
Right. Yeah, sort of. They're a bit different, just because one sticks around and one doesn't.
Okay. Another
Uh,
question.
Yeah.
We got vehicle. It is not in itself considered a creature, correct?
No.
So if I have an ability that says tap 4 creatures, I cannot tap a vehicle.
Unless it's crude.
Okay.
Because when it's crude, it becomes an artifact creature.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah. I don't think there is any, but in this set, but like if somebody was to play counter target creature spell, that will not work for the vehicle.
Vehicles.
It's not a creature spell. If you're reducing creature spells, mana cost, if you're trying to fetch or tutor a creature card, you can't grab a vehicle.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. So some of this stuff I copied from Austin, just so aware. So you're on
So
a time
everything
limit.
that's misspelled is Boss's fault. Got it.
Yep.
What?
To speed up your deck building, sort cards by color when opening the pack. After sorting, identify power colors. Understand and sort cards by bread. And also, don't forget to enjoy opening your packs. It's a new set. Some great cards. Don't stress too much.
What is sort by bread?
Here we go.
There we go.
Sorry, can somebody read this while I click on it? I'm having trouble
Yeah.
talking.
Okay, so B in the bread acronym stands for bombs. Bombs are cards that that are your deck's biggest threats. If an opponent does not answer bombs soon enough, you most likely will win the game. Examples of bombs can be big creatures with abilities, something that gives you lots of recursion, so being able to play things multiple times to repopulate your board. Something that gives you lots of card advantage, so like an opponent discards their hand, you draw a bunch of cards when each of you only has a couple cards in hand. Most of the decks that you see and play with are built around bombs. In a limited format, don't go with a color just because it has your only bomb. If your biggest creature is a 4/4 in red and you don't really have that great of options for creatures, but you only have a few cards in red, don't think that you have to go with red because it has your biggest creature. These are examples of bombs here, I'm guessing, KK?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to go over them, or you eating or something?
No, I'm just having a hard time breathing.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Talking.
do you got a cold?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's-
Yeah, I'll go over them.
Okay, thank you.
So with Hedasugu Devouring Chaos, he's a 4/4 body for 4. So that by itself, he's a decent sized creature, but he has a sacrifice outlet for 1 black mana that lets you scry 2. You can activate this on creatures that are already dying, or ones that you just don't need anymore. The bomb feature, I'm guessing, is this next ability. Pay 3 mana, tap him. You get to exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. When you exile a non-land card, he deals damage equal to the exiled card's mana value to any target. So yeah, that's actually pretty banger. You can just get off a lot of free damage, showing things off the top of your library, even if you don't have intent to play it. If you get a land, then it's 0 damage. So that's a bummer. But yeah. Okay, the Coyote. So if you were to do it on your turn, you can still play the land, but this is an ability you can activate during your opponent's turn. Kyodai,
Can you
Soul of...
play lands on your opponent's turn with that ability?
No,
Okay.
no. No, it says you may play this card this turn. There he is.
What happened?
You lost connection, I'm guessing, for a second.
There you go. Can you see it?
So Kyodai, Soul of Kamigawa. Matt, go ahead and go over that one.
Yeah, it's a 3/3 for 4 mana, 1 white. Flash, flying. Flash is always good. When it enters the battlefield, another target permanent gains indestructible for as long as you control her. Wow, that's huge. Holy crap. And then, pretty unrealistic, but if you pay 1 of each mana, she gets +5/+5 until end of turn. But yeah, you can give something, so you can flash in a creature that's about to die to give it indestructible, and then it has indestructible the rest of the game as long as Soul of Kamigawa is not dead. That's cool.
Is that card?
That is a really cool card. And the last one, the blue one, is 3 mana. It's a 2/3. Whenever 1 or more non-creature permanents are returned to hand, draw a card. This ability it triggers only once each turn, and then for that's how you do it for X +1 white artifact or enchantment card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Holy crap! Activate only as a sorcery. Yeah, that is a bomb card that repopulates your board, like Austin was talking about.
Yeah, that one, it's a 2/3 for 3, so it's not like a big creature by itself. But if you can activate, you can only get it once per turn and only activate it as a sorcery. Or the extra effect. So you can only activate it as a sorcery. But if you can get off the ability a couple times, then you're feeling really good. You return a land to your hand, so it's not sacrificing. But then you get to draw a card. So you repopulate with an additional option, and you bring something back from the graveyard to the battlefield.
And it could be a tapped land, so it's like you pay the tapped land, bring it back to your hand, and replay it. That's cool.
Yep. Yeah, that's a crazy good card. Is that mythic?
No, it's rare.
It's a rare? Okay. I can't tell what's mythic, so thank you guys.
That Kodama the West Tree, that one's mythic.
Yeah.
That's mythic. Nice. Yeah.
There's a pilot.
I want Rat Pilot real bad because Oliver loves motorcycles. I want to get that from him.
That's fair. That's a cool card, anyways. They're bringing shrines back, Spencer.
They're different, man.
They're different.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody pulls all 5 shrines, then you have to go 5 color. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Nope. They'll all go in my dragon deck.
Okay. R in red stands for removal. So destroy effects, exile effects, counterspells, bounce effects, discard, graveyard hate. Don't waste your time on removal on lesser threats. Use your removal for enemy bombs or evasion creatures if necessary. So, for some examples.
Yeah.
It's a counterspell.
That's cool.
So you could use that on a vehicle. Spell curse.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You could. But go back one. The disruption protocol. You if you're running modulated creatures or whatever it is, just remember when it's equipped to another creature, you can still tap it and it remains equipped.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were you asking, Matt?
I was just about to say, it sounds like counter spells aren't that good because of ninjutsu, but I guess still pretty good for vehicles and everything else.
So hold on, go back one. Spell Pierce, this is a reprint. This has always been a banger of a card every single time it's been in standard, from my knowledge. It's a 1-mana counter spell for non-creature spells. But to play it, you're watching the opponent's mana. But I just do not underestimate Spell Pierce here. Do not.
Yeah.
Vanishing Slash.
Debt to the Kami. These are freaking common.
I would definitely say that artifact and enchantment, because there's sagas as well as artifacts. Artifact and enchantment removal is much higher priority and value than in other sets.
And at the very minimum, you want to have your removal for those artifacts enchantments in your sideboard if you're not going to put them in your main.
At
That way, if
very
they do turn out
least,
to use,
if figure out the colors you're running, and you should have all of your removal in a pile. The ones that you don't have in, definitely look at after your first match each game. If you have extra artifact or removal, you may need to put it in on their deck.
So this new card, Austin might need your help with this, but
Mm-hmm.
the March of Other with the Light. So it's an instant. As an additional cost to cast this, you can exile any number of white cards from your hand. Spell costs two less to cast for each card exiled this way. Exile target artifact, creature, or enchantment with mana value X or less. So, for example, if I play that and I exile one from my hand, is it X currently 2?
Yep.
If you don't put it, so X is whatever value you pick. So when you play it, you have to tap a white mana, and you can pick 12. And you either need to pick for the value of X. If you pick 12, you either have to pump 12 mana into it, or exile 6 cards from your hand, or a combination of both. Yeah.
This is a big one because it's an instant and it's exile, so you could just even do 3 and 1 white.
Yep. That thing will also, for 1 mana, just pop tokens.
Yep.
Just keep that in mind.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. That's a crazy cool card. I'm excited about
Oh, question about popping a token. Let's say somebody uses a token to crew a vehicle. If I pop the token, does that make the vehicle not crewed anymore?
Did you? No. Once it's crewed, it's crewed. So in response to them attempting to tap their creature to crew it, you can kill the creature, and then it never gets tapped and never gets crewed.
Good to know.
But yeah, if they successfully crew the vehicle, then
You
it is
cannot
that
forcibly uncrew it.
Well, because it becomes a creature, artifact creature, until end of turn.
Gotcha.
I just want to say about the last card coming up, the farewell card. I can't wait to get that in Spanish because it's called Adios.
The farewell card is 1 or more. That's a really cool one. You can pick whatever ones you want.
What is it, 6 mana, I think? Sorry, I
Yeah.
but an exile too.
Yeah.
It's an entire board wipe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except for planeswalkers.
And lands.
Yeah. Board wipes on lands are pretty rare now.
So I should take the Armageddon out, is what you guys are saying?
Yes. Do not play with Armageddon. People will pick up and never play against the deck again.
Alright. E-Inbred Center Evasion. So creatures with some form of protection, primarily when attacking. So flying, menace, trample, fear, indestructible. These are board threats that you can get a chip damage or card advantage on your opponents, or force your opponents to use their removal on something that is in your bottom.
Yeah.
That black shrine's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. An option just to ping a creature with power 1 or less every single turn for 1 mana.
That's
Blink,
creepy.
blink, blink. Oh yeah.
It's a-
KK, are you excited? I've seen I think 3 different mono green creatures with Death Touch in this set.
Yeah, there's that one.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that
Yep.
Dragon Spirit. That's a bomb card, man. Yeah.
With
I'm
Evasion.
Mhm.
excited. With Death
Yeah.
Touch because I needed him for Finn.
Yeah.
We went through like green, and it's not a whole lot of banger cards with Death Touch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm very excited. Another Dragon Spirit.
This isn't helping me build
So
my
this one I
dragon
really
deck.
like. Haste, when he
Heavy
deals
dragon.
combat damage to a player, if it doesn't have an indestructible counter on it, put an indestructible counter on it. Whenever
Yeah.
combat damage is dealt to you, remove an indestructible counter from it.
Mm-hmm.
So every time like it does damage to a player, if it doesn't have a counter on it, put one on it.
Mm-hmm. So Matt, this creature made me really excited for your deck because you love running Angel Fire Ignitions.
Oh, for my standard?
Uh-huh. This creature I think fits really well with Angel Fire Ignition. The Rhysona. Sorry, Commander.
Yeah. He's rare.
That, and then if they care about being modulated, Angel Fire Ignition is a banger card for those. Hanada Dawnground. Tricolor.
What the hell?
Ooh. That's a scary card. It's in the control colors.
Yeah.
Well, black is missing. Wow.
Alright. Hey, red stands for aggro. Creatures that are fillers, not bombs, but they fill your mana curve. Can be powerful creatures that give board presence. Can be only creatures of a certain mana drops. Give some value that enables an assist for your bombs.
Do you guys have question on aggro creatures?
At the last pre-release, I got destroyed by aggro decks. Is aggro decks like a really good idea to build towards, or if you have enough removal, doesn't matter?
Aggro creatures and aggro decks are different.
Oh.
Aggro decks, like you'll have aggro creatures, but aggro is just to fit the acronym bread. So they're there to give you an extra purpose, but you would rather a better card. You'd rather an evasion or a bomb if you can. These are either that or these are supposed to enable you to do something else. So like the Aki Ronin, this is a perfect example of an aggro card. He's a 1/3 for 2 mana in red. Not that exciting at all. But if you attack with him, then you can swap a card. You can ditch a land or ditch, a burn spell that isn't big enough and try to find a different answer to either continue going fast or dredge for answers to a problem. But aggro decks, they're just I'm trying to kill you as fast as possible. If you stop me, you probably win the game.
Like your standard deck, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. D in red stands for dirt. Cards that you don't want in your deck, period. Dirt's last option for putting cards only if you have 0 of the other cards to put in. Limited removal, like Plummet, may warrant a dirt slot. 2 expensive creatures that don't offer anything else may warrant the dirt slot. And being able to easily identify dirt will take time and experience. A lot of cards. But they're, in my opinion, they're just cards that just don't benefit you much.
They don't fit your meta.
No.
Yeah, so that
Even
Just Guy
themselves.
trainee, in most decks will warrant a dirt slot. It's just that they should have just printed Bushido 1 on it. So that Just Guy trainee, it's a 2/2 for 2. It's not really doing much else unless it's interacting in combat. It could be moved up into the aggro slot if you don't have any early drops.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like if you don't have early drops, or if you have a lot of early drops in the colors that you're running, odds are you got something that'll offer more than the Just Guy trainee is going to give you. So that would move to your dirt slot.
Okay, any questions? Okay.
I'm just so excited to build a deck now.
Yeah.
I guess my question is, how long do these events normally last?
Starts at 6, and they usually last like 4.5, 5 hours.
Yeah. I think last time it go to almost midnight.
Yeah, last time
Yeah,
they
did
did.
4 rounds.
Yeah,
an hour each.
Yeah, last time they did 4 rounds.
It all depends on also who comes to and how many people are there. But mana curve. This is mainly for you and Ryan, Spencer. So do you decide what colors and cards you want? Place your cards in accordance with the mana value. Play more than 40 cards, but you really should stick 40 if possible. Every card you play past 40 just means it's much less likely you're going to draw that awesome rare you put in your deck, or the bums.
Yeah.
Land ratio you're looking for should be 17 or 18 lands to 22 or 23 non-lands. Will depend on your cards and how expensive they are and all that. And this is what your A should look like.
Nice.
For example.
Nice.
So some good cards are heavier mana-wise for late game. Then you got your mid-range, and then some early plays as well.
Yeah.
Especially, I've noticed in draft and this stuff, early plays are better.
So I will say this: turn 1 plays in limited is overrated. Don't worry about playing something on turn 1. This is a draft format here, but on this note, this set in particular, very, very, very concerned if people have 1 mana open. Every single color has an instant speed 1 mana card. Every single color.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Any questions on the mana curve?
No, that seems pretty standard.
Yeah. Final tips to keep in mind. First objective is enjoy yourself. Like, I think we're all really excited for the Kamigawa set. There's also some cards, so there's like 5 different varieties of them. That is gonna be
all the artwork.
Yeah. Like I think this card, the background, I think it had, or one of the cards has like 4 different borders in neon, which are cool. When building your deck, remember that you can sideboard any of the cards you pulled. So, for example, I think last pre-release, I built my first deck, I played, I lost, and then talked to Austin. He convinced me to grab a whole different color and add it to my deck. Because I didn't have enough card draw or something like that. So, don't hesitate if you need anything from your sideboard. Creatures of value, almost always. Other spells tend to be more situational. When in doubt, of the cards to add lean towards creatures. Card advantage is serious state. If your opponent clears their bombs or evasions, but uses several cards to do so, you may have just won the game. Bluff your way to win. Don't be obvious about your options. For example, pretend you have something if you don't. For example, ask the power and toughness of the opponent's creatures, how many cards they have in their hand. That, I know you and I know this, that Austin does this a lot. He tricks us and talks about like creatures and land and stuff. Do not hesitate to clarify and ask questions on how things are happening. Don't let your opponent just tell your card's abilities and effects. They may be lying, but all misunderstand abilities and may make mistakes. It's a new set and some new mechanics that we are all learning. And that's it. Any questions? Concerns?
No, that was
I
very good.
loved it. I'm so pumped to
loved it.
play.
Thanks,
That was
guys.
awesome.
I'm so interested to see, like what cards I get. Am I gonna go like Saga, Creature, Ninja, Samurai, Vehicles? Like I'm so interested.
Oh yeah. One thing that I've noticed, since all the sagas turn into creatures, I think I'm not sure how that's gonna mess with the creature like value. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna count sagas as half a creature. If you guys are understanding
Makes
what I'm
sense.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you don't get it for 3 turns after you play it. So, but it is a creature. So, like playing a saga, these sagas, like you want enough creatures. Oh, Spencer, this is good advice for you. If you're building your deck and you've decided on your colors and you're going through and filling things in, if you aren't certain about a card, when in doubt, just go with a creature. Creatures have more inherent value than other cards that you can build around and play around more.
Okay.
It's always better to have a creature on the board than a card sitting in your hand that you don't know what to do with.
Fair.
So.
Okay, thanks guys for joining us. We're going to the pre-releases Fridays and tomorrow and Saturday. We're really pumped. Let us know if you have any questions. Let us know how you do. We'll be posting our stuff and how we do as well. Our prizes. Have a good night.